Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we'll be into the Forest of Training Magnetic, utilizing Wano lore and showcasing the sub-potentials of the new V2 SHIRASHERRY. Now, ever since I saw this character pop up on Japan, I have been really excited to use this character with Wano lore. Now, the big sort of downside, I guess, that you can throw at Wano lore is he has no HP pool, but he has so much damn healing and he has so much damage reduction. Well, with this particular team that I have put together, we were on stream today when I sort of tested this run out, and this team is an absolute forest killer. This team has no issues whatsoever moving through this forest, bar one particular stage, and it has only happened to me once, and I think I ran this like a couple of times, sort of like testing the waters off screen and on screen. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Now, if you guys want to check out the supports, just head back to the start of the video where I did my little intro. We do have the support of Halloween Ace on our Luffy and Sanji, and we do also have the limited rare recruit support on Wano lore. Now, that is not essential, the Corazon support. The Halloween Ace is, unfortunately, but the limited rare recruit isn't essential. As you'll see on that Beach stage, we just pop one of our lore specials, take down that stage as quickly as possible. You do want to make sure you kill Beach on the very first turn. Moving to this stage against your Rogue, we want to remove the defense up using Usohachi special, and then we can use Luffy and Sanji to give ourselves a full board of orbs, as well as an attack boost. That way we can just take out your Rogue easy peasy. Other notable supports on this particular team is we are using a Kaido on our Don Krieg and Jin. That is very, very important to actually get an attack boost on the Basil Hawkins X Drake and Page 1 stage. That is actually very, very key. And if you guys don't have SHIRASHERRY, you can replace her with someone else on this particular team, but the whole idea of this video was to just showcase her. Now, this is the particular stage that I was talking about where there is a little bit of RNG involved. Within the next 2 turns, you need to make sure you get a Strength Orb on someone that's not Don Krieg and Jin, which sounds tricky, but it's really not, as we do have a couple of strength characters, so with orbs you can actually get a little bit more luck with RNG. But with the switchability of Don Krieg and Jin, we can actually guarantee ourselves one of those orbs to take away the barrier on the flame dude, and then that way we can easily move onto the bug looking guy and take our time on this particular stage. The beautiful thing about using lore and the switchability of SHIRASHERRY can remove a lot of nasty debuffs like Special Bind, Bind, Despair, and Slot Bind, and then so can Luffy and Sanji, removing Paralysis, Bind, and Despair. So we do have utility just with our switch abilities. But with the switchability of SHIRASHERRY, more importantly, we can actually get the overheal mechanic. Now, with the Liberal Hind on the lore team, we can actually get 5,000 end of turn healing, which just makes this team incredibly tanky. And when we actually get to this particular stage, we're going to get all of our specials rewinded backwards to the very beginning at the 3rd turn. And then after that, we're actually just going to sit on this particular stage, stall out as much as we can, just to make sure that we get our Usohachi special back by the next stage. But that's very, very easy to do with lore's amazing tankiness, the switchability of Don Krieg and Jin, as well as the switchability of Luffy Sanji giving a matching orb, and SHIRASHERRY giving us the overheal mechanic. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit until we don't have to stall on this guy anymore. Alright, so now that we're down to the 2-turn cooldown on Usohachi, this is basically where we can move on. The guaranteed matching orb that Luffy Sanji can provide, as well as all that healing that lore provides, means that just you don't even need take damage from that bug looking guy, even without any of the switch abilities. Just make sure you're using SHIRASHERRY every single turn to keep the overheal. On this turn against Killer, he has 5 turns of damage reduction. We're just going to pop out Usohachi special. Usohachi's not only going to remove the damage reduction, but he's also going to give 2 turns of delays. Now, against Killer, normally he has a can mechanic, as well as only letting us use 1 special. But utilizing Usohachi for this particular fight and on this forest, he just makes this stage an absolute joke, as we now have 3 turns to kill Killer, and he can't actually get off that reflection damage unless we take more than the 3 turns. But as you can see, like, with the amount of Psy units we have on this particular team, we can easily do enough damage to Killer, get him nice and low, and then finish him by the 3rd turn. Utilizing lore with the SHIRASHERRY mechanic is actually incredibly fun as well, mainly because lore's captain ability states that if you're at max HP, which for him is the 27,000, if you're at max HP or anywhere over that, you actually get the 4.5 times multiplier all the time. Now, this was where I had a little bit of an issue with the team building, and this is where I'm actually using the Corazon support. But if you don't have that Corazon support, you can actually keep reloading the game until your Luffy Sanji, and your SHIRASHERRY isn't bound. If you do that, you can just use their switch abilities to remove the bind, as well as utilizing the Halloween Ace support, and then utilizing the lore special, you can easily take out Big Mom, get rid of the block orbs and stuff like that. But I just used the Corazon support just for the sake of the video, make things a bit quicker, as I just didn't want to sit there and reload the game. But this team does it very, very easily. And if you are looking for a very safe team, this team can get it done exceptionally well as not relying on too much RNG besides that one little stage, which really isn't that too tricky to get around. On the next stage against Basil Hawkins, X-Drake, and Page 1. This is where we're going to pop our Law special first. Then we can use our Don Krieg and Jin special. With the Law special, we get a 2.25 times orb boost, as well as a 2.5 times chain lock up to 35 times, as well as Don Krieg and Jin and the Akano support, giving us an attack boost, as well as all strength orbs. And then finally, we can actually use the SHIRASHERRY special. Now, SHIRASHERRY is basically, the only reason I'm using her special here is we actually get the chain buff mechanic, the extra addition to the multiplier, which directly correlates with Law's chain multiplier buff as well. So as you can see, we're already at 4 times multiplier on the second shot, and then with the orb buff that Law provides, as well as the attack boost that Kaido provides, we can actually do so much damage on this particular stage that we can almost kill everyone in one shot. The downside here is we actually want to stall a little bit on this page 1 stage. You really want to only stall another 3 turns just so you can get your Uso Hachi special back. Getting Uso Hachi special back is going to help out a lot on the next stage against King, but for me, I actually did goofed, and I didn't actually do enough damage to page 1. You really want to get him incredibly low, so then that way you don't have to continuously reload the game and rely on him not blowing away your captains. But there is the opportunity to actually do that, and if you don't, it's not the end of the world, because like Law just tanks for days, mate. Like having your 2 Laws available to you with the 25% damage reduction on each. See, I lose both my captains here, and I just keep going. Like I'm just like, screw it. The 25% damage reduction on each, I think it comes to around 40-something%. Then you put the 10% from sockets on top of that, which isn't exactly 10%. But then you also have the 20% damage reduction that Don Krieg and Jin can provide every single turn. On top of all the healing we have with SHIRASHERRY, Luffy Sanji, and the captain abilities of Law as well. Like this team, like it doesn't even matter that there's only 27,000 HP, because with the overheal, it becomes 54,000, which is incredibly high. The Liberal Hind gives more healing. It also gives a high captain multiplier and helps us get our side character specials back a lot quicker. As you'll see here, ideally you want page 1 dead by this point, and you do want to be moving on to the next stage against King. Taking a few extra turns here is not the end of the world though, depending on what characters get blown away, because you do want to try and get your Law specials back as well, as he's going to actually help you out on, I think it's on the King stage. I think we use it on the King stage. It might be on the Kaido stage, but I'm not 100% sure. Moving on to the next stage now, we come up against King. King's going to give us 6 turns of Gloom and bind our ship for 4 turns, which is a little bit annoying, but nothing too drastic that we can't get around, as we do have the switch abilities of Luffy Sanji and SHIRASHERRY to remove 2 turns of the Gloom, and then we can actually use our Uso Hachi special to remove the defensive effects that King puts up. Now, after turn 1, King's going to start putting up an orb barrier of each respective color. So I'm pretty sure he starts with Quick, and then he goes Int, Dex, Strength, Psi. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, I'm 90% sure, and I know that's how it goes. Now, with some good orb luck, you guys can actually manipulate some of your orbs as well. But with some good orb luck, you can start doing a lot of damage against King. But the idea here is, on that first turn, you want to try and switch into Jin, to guarantee yourself a quick orb on that very first turn. For me, I got lucky and I had one on Uso Hachi, so I didn't have to, and I could switch back into Don Krieg. That way I just get a little more damage output. But as you make your way through this, if you do manage to pick up any orbs along the way that you can use to attack, make sure that you are doing that. It's just going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. But you can still get healing back with SHIRASHERRY, you can still get healing back with Law's captain ability, and you can still get healing back with those guaranteed meat orbs that Luffy Sanji can provide for you. So against King, he does a lot of damage, and we do need to take him out within that 6 turn range, but we actually have more healing than his damage can do, which is actually absurd, as this particular stage can be sort of a run killer for most people. Now, we did get lucky, we got an orb on Uso Hachi here, but again, that's not essential. You just want to make sure that you do stay as your Jin unit on this particular stage when the Dex barrier comes up, as you do want to switch into Don Krieg to guarantee yourselves a strength orb on the next turn. This is where the next turn is when we're actually going to use the Luffy Sanji special. Luffy Sanji can give us a full board of recovery orbs, which won't be matching, unfortunately, because we don't have a way to make them matching on this particular team. And we don't have, like with the switch ability, we can't get through that barrier effect because he makes every orb unfavorable. So what we actually want to do on this particular stage is use the Luffy Sanji special, get a full board of recovery orbs, And then we can actually switch with Don Krieg and Jin to give ourselves the Strength Orb. The Strength Orb is going to break the barrier, and then we can output a lot of damage as we have the 2.5 times attack boost from our Luffy and Sanji special. Onto the final stage against King when he puts up the Psy barrier. We can actually use one of our Law specials, and one of the Law specials, whichever one we use, is actually going to give him a Psy orb, which is going to help us break that barrier. Now, I actually got lucky and got an orb on my SHIRASHERRY, but it really doesn't matter too much as we do actually want to use the Law special anyway to not only rotate some orbs into matching, but mainly so we can get the orb buff as well as the chain lock. The chain lock here is the big thing. If we can get a chain lock on this stage, we will have enough damage to easily take out King, and as long as we have one orb on our strength unit, whether it be Don Krieg and Jin or Usohachi, we should be able to clap King easy peasy. Moving on to the next stage against Kaido. This is where we're going to have to stall a little bit again, unfortunately, as we do want to try and make sure that we can not only kill Kaido, but we basically want to get our Luffy and Sanji special back. Now, we do have this help of Liberal Hind to do that, and if you want to, you can actually utilize the Don Krieg and Jin special throughout this particular stage to make things a bit quicker, but you do need to stall at least 6 turns here to actually get the Luffy Sanji special back. So after turn 1 against Kaido, he basically gives you 10 turns of 2 specials only, and he's immune to Psy damage on the very first turn. And then after the first turn, he gives us 5 turns of a burn, and that burn is actually like 25k, so make sure you don't hit your perfects because it will actually hurt. Kaido, every single turn is going to do like a big hit, but with the switchability of Don Krieg and Jin, the tankiness that Law provides, and the healing and the overheal mechanic from SHIRASHERRY, once again, that damage that Kaido is doing to us is pretty much non-existent. So I'm going to fast forward to the end, and we will go from there. Alright, so we basically got down to 1 turn on our Luffy Sanji. I'm pretty sure I actually stuffed up when I was doing this run, mainly because like I didn't have the burn went away after the 5 turns, and I wanted to make sure it came back before I actually killed Kaido. But basically, just before you kill Kaido, you basically just want to use the SHIRASHERRY special, as we're not going to stall out the 10 turns against Kaido, but we do want to use the SHIRASHERRY special to not only get a chain buff, but to actually remove the burn. I just thought that was super cool doing that with SHIRASHERRY. Not essential, but it's definitely very, very cool. You do want to make sure you're Sanji too, so you can switch into Luffy on this stage, use their special, give yourselves a full water orbs, finish it off with the Law, chain lock and orb buff, and easily take out good old Captain Kidd. But there you guys go. That was the Magnetic Forest, showcasing Wano Law mainly, but also the power of SHIRASHERRY as a sub. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you are new to my channel and you are enjoying the OPTC content, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!